Alright, so there's going to be a tier list about all the crops in Stardew Valley. There's going to be a bit of like an in-depth analysis because I've seen some videos talking about like the best crops for each season or like the best way to min-max for each season. This is kind of going to be like that, but this is just going to look at a pretty subjective, to be honest, a pretty subjective list of like every crop in the game from at least what I know. I'm like looking at the wiki and all this for long enough, you get to know your way around some of these crops and know what to go for. So like this is just going to be to help out. Like by looking at this, you'll be able to understand, okay, these are the crops that I want on my farm. Also, this is going to be a long video and I don't expect any of you to be able to sit through all of it, so that's okay. Just skip to the end, look at where everything is, and I'll probably have timestamps for every single crop that I put on here. So yeah, they're all going to be up here for different reasons. They're all going to be unique in their own way, which is why yeah, a lot of these crops are really well done, and I gotta hand it to Concerned Ape for making them all unique. So yeah, I've also made the spreadsheet, which just kind of like it goes over every crop and like has their value in like a min-max table. Which is very lazily done. Other people have done much better jobs at explaining how to min-max this game better than what this is. So this is just going to be, you know, if you're new, then if you want like a basic analysis of all the crops, then like there are a couple of other videos for that too. But this is just going to be specifically an in-depth analysis for more of a completionist standpoint. Like if you're beginning, you're starting out, you want to know what to do, and also if you are, you know, want to do like completionist of this game. So yeah, that's really long. That's a lot longer than I thought it would be. Anyways, yeah, let's start with the basic crop. The first crop that you get in the game, you get 15 when you first start out. Now, parsnips are really important because they only take 4 days to grow and they give you 8 XP each, which is why I have this up. I have all the XP here. Parsnip 8. And what that means is that you only need 13 parsnips to get to level 1, which will let you unlock scarecrows. You don't even need all 15 that they give you. So you plant those 13 parsnips, you get a scarecrow, and then you can plant as many as as many crops as you want. No crows will come. Also, by the way, 15 parsnips are because if there are more than 15 crops on your field at once, then the crows. Then that's when the crows come. Crows can't come if there are 15 or less crops on your field at once. So those parsnips won't be touched. You don't have to worry about crows, and after you pick them, you still won't have to worry about crows. So that's really nice. And they're also pretty good gifts for one of the cheapest seeds in the game. They're vegetables, so they're a global like with a couple of exceptions. I believe Haley, Abigail, the kids, and someone else. But yeah, they're a decent gift if you want to just like mass produce these so that you have at least something to give to people on their birthday. It's not bad. It's not bad. Pretty cheap, pretty quick growing. You can plant that at the pretty end of spring, and you'll get a bunch of them. Yeah, you know, pretty good. I put it B tier. Next, what you're gonna go for, because right now you're looking at the egg festival, right? You want to get those strawberry seeds because I'm not gonna lie, strawberries are gonna be high up there. And there are only 2 crops from here. Well, 3. You can get more parsnips, but like don't do that. There are 2 crops really that are really good for this. There are potatoes and kale. They're both A tier because they're really integral for this next part. And it's kind of a debate. I've had kind of a debate in my head whether potatoes or kale are better. And on paper, potatoes are a lot better, but there are reasons to go for kale instead. For example, potatoes give 14 farming XP per one you pick. By the way, multiple harvests do not, wherever it says it. Anyway, multiple harvests do not count as multiple XP points. So even if you get extra potatoes, you'll still only get 14 from that one pick. Which makes kale a little bit better in that regard. You'll get more XP per water that you do. So that's always nice. But in the end, potato just gives you so much more money than the kale that it's just kind of not really a contest. I mean, it is kind of a contest, but If you want money, go for potatoes, and if you want energy, go for kale. Because also, as it turns out, if you have an excess, look at this. Potatoes are worth 80, give you 25. Yeah, it's not that good. But kale, 110, give you twice as much. So yeah, pretty good energy. If you have any gold quality, eat those, because it's always better to eat gold quality than to sell gold quality. The multiplier for energy is always going to be more than the multiplier for money. So yeah. Kale for energy, potato for also with kales, their seeds are worth more. So you have to you don't have to buy as many seeds with the same amount of money. Yeah, I used to like kale. Actually, I do like kale, but potatoes are still better if you want to go straight for strawberries. Speaking of strawberries, boom. Of course they are. Strawberries are by far the best thing that you can grow in the spring. Even if you plant them on the egg festival, they'll still make you a lot more money than anything else. They're not the most important thing you want to go for, but for the amount that you water, for the amount that you get for the amount that you water is so much better than anything else that you can plant in the spring. You definitely want to stockpile money for the egg festival, which is why you want to go parsnips, then potatoes, and then into strawberries. And yeah, that's basically the end of your first year of spring. Some of the other spring crops, coffee is on here. Everybody idolizes coffee just because there's this one video of like a guy that takes one coffee bean and turns it into an entire farmful. The problem with that though is that doing that with coffee is a dedication. Like if you're gonna want to like water all that, even in the late game, that's kind of a hassle to take care of. Like that's space that you can be using, or that's energy that you could be using, and you're just using it for coffee, then it's not really a good end game crop. Like you look at the min-max list, it's the most important lines are here and here. So yeah, that's a lot of numbers. Take my word for it. Coffee's not that good for money, but it is B tier, and the reason for that is that it's a really good crop to have on the side. You just want to plant a few coffee beans and then let them keep growing, and then you'll just have that coffee to turn into coffee, and then you'll run a little bit faster for a little bit until you run out of coffee to use, and then you just have to start buying them at the saloon. But coffee from here is so much more worth than coffee from the saloon, and also it's really not hard to get the shipment quest in the first year. All you do is put 15, you'll easily get those. If you have at least like 9 during the summer or something, it's good to have on the side. You'll get a lot of coffee out of it. Next is green bean, unimportant for community center. Don't grow it if you want to make money. The next is cauliflower. The thing about cauliflower, it is the next best thing to get behind potato in the spring. 7.92 base gold per day. I can just show you right here. Yeah, 7.92. That's pretty good. But there's one fatal flaw about it. You plant it on the first day. It takes 12 days to grow. It'll be ready by the egg festival. In other words, if you plant cauliflower, you'll never get your money back by the time you get strawberries. Oh, but you could be like, well, you can plant it afterwards. Yeah, no, you're gonna have to make the money to buy some cauliflower seeds by, I believe, the 14th? Literally the day right after. No, the 15th. But the 15th, you have to make the money that you want to plant cauliflowers for. And what about the second year? Well, if you want to do cauliflowers in the second year, well, you're gonna have the bus unlocked, which means it's gonna be trumped by this guy, rhubarb. You're in any year in spring other than your first year, you're gonna be planting rhubarbs. Strawberries is also an option, but I like rhubarb so much better. But in other words, cauliflower, it's sad, honestly. This thing could bump up a whole tier or two if it changed from 12 days to 11, because what you could do, what you could do, you sell your 15 parsnip seeds, you get 10 each, that's 150 plus your 500 that you already get, that's 650. You can buy 8 cauliflower seeds with that, which means no scarecrows, and you'll make a decent amount of money by the time of the egg festival. And like for the amount of watering and care that has, like that's a really good cool strat. If you don't like farming at all you have to do is water 8 cauliflower until the egg festival, which leaves you with a lot of energy for mining, fishing, and whatever the hell that you want to do that's not farming. But sadly, it is exactly the amount of days that makes it the most useless spring crop. Yeah, cauliflower is the most useless spring crop. At least green beans, they got like a couple recipes. I believe it's like, you can pickle it and it's good for that. Cauliflower is not as good for pickling as green beans, and yeah, it's sad, honestly. Cauliflower is horrible. Next one is garlic. I thought that garlic was good. It outclasses parsnip in every single way. Problem? It's in year 2. Why would you ever plant garlic in year 2? It's used in like what? The thing that makes monsters run away from you when you wanna okay, I guess that's useful in some circumstances, but I would never use it. The loot that monsters drop is way too good for me to ever want to use something like that. It's a preference, sure, but also you're not gonna like be growing garlic to get those. That's ridiculous. Yeah, blue jazz. Just the thing about blue jazz, it goes into C tier. The thing about blue jazz is that the honey that you get from blue jazz honey is exactly the same price as putting honey in the keg to get mead. And that's not terrible, because that means that you save kegs. You save the time that you need for kegs to process that mead. Only that time is pretty it's pretty negligible. It's pretty zero. You don't need to worry about kegs a lot if you want to turn honey into mead, which means blue jazz saving that keg time, not the best. Still an option, still better than nothing, but it's not really that good. The next one, so this is an F tier for a while, but this one cracked me up because listen. Tulips, they cost 20. They take 6 days to grow. And they sell for 30. That's like terrible. That's abysmal gold per day. If you want to go for honey, go for blue jazz. But I'm putting it up here because you know what ends up being a viable strategy? Tulips ends up becoming the most energy farm that you could make in spring year 1. It is actually a viable strategy to just plant tulips so that you have something to eat for other things. And like look at this. 45, 63, like 45, that's like a bread. That's a field snack. You're growing field snacks at the cost of $20 each. That's not bad enough to not be a viable option. So man, tulips have been F tier for so long because I'm just like, oh yeah, grow one, throw it in a shipping bin. You don't even need 15. Just go over with it. But I didn't even realize, like even green beans. Just think like, oh, green beans are supposed to be healthy. Like even strawberries, 50. Well, it's worth 120. Why would you eat that? But just buy salads. Kale? Yeah, no, just buy salads. Green bean, ooh, 25 each. Well, it grows 3 every day. Well, I guess that's the same as tulips, but also it's tulips. You can just like grow a couple, and then you'll get yourself back by the 6th day, instead of having to wait for it to grow and then regrow by the time that you'll probably have a pretty steady place to get salads. It's a viable way to go about the early game, and it's so funny. But yeah, that's why tulip is D tier. High D tier, and spoiler alert, it's going to be the highest D tier, but it's the most useless crop. That's why it's up there. Anyway, I think that's all for spring. So now on to summer. For summer, here's the thing, right? Blueberries, super good. 20 gold per day base value, and just because you get so many of it, there's no way that you're turning that all into jelly. There's just no way. especially in your first year. Blueberry is a really nice crop if you just want to like buy something and then not like, put up a couple of sprinklers, because if you're going the strawberry route, you're definitely going to get level 6. So you're going to have a couple of sprinklers on the farm, maybe it's the auto farm blueberries, and that's just going to be your best way to make money if you just want to sell it directly. Another really cool thing is melons. Not as good as blueberries, however, the thing about melons is that you can put them in preserve jars. This is a viable strategy. You'll get 550 per jelly if you do that. The thing is that I've just never really liked preserve jars because they cost 8 coal, and in the late game, and in any game honestly, coal is such a valuable resource for it takes 3 coal to make a sprinkler, or a little bit less if you're using fire quartz instead of normal quartz, but it takes coal to make sprinklers, it takes coal to make kegs, it takes coal to make crystallariums, it takes coal to make iridium bars, which is, just turns into more money, which you could, use to buy coal. Coal is such a valuable resource that I just never bother going for preserve jars, but if that's how you want to go, if you want to make a lot of money with preserve jars, then melons is really good and definitely outclasses blueberries. I just don't like preserve jars so much that it goes into an entire tier below. Now, we got those two out of the way. You know what you really, really want on your farm? Alright. So, I'm aware of pale ale. But, and I am aware that pale ale in the late game is literally the best way to make money in the game. However, if you don't have kegs in the first year, you might be going well, why would you get hops? They're worth 25 each. If you can't turn it into pale ale, what's the use of getting them? You're gonna give them to Pam or something? No. By the way, even though it's a vegetable, hops and wheat are exceptions. They are universal neutrals. No. Hops. Jesus Christ. So, if you have kegs, turn them into pale ale. Definitely turn them into pale ale. You'll get set. They take less than 2 days to turn into pale ale. You'll get 12 times the profit out of it, which is absolutely stupid. But the reason why it's an S tier, if it was just because of pale ale, it would probably be an A tier, because it's useless in the first year. But it is not. It is not, because look at this number. This is as much energy as the tulips give, and after it grows, it regrows every single day. This is like half a salad. You plant this on your farm, you're getting half a salad a day, and that's only base quality. If you get gold quality, that's basically a salad. You're planting basically salads on your farm every single day. You have 8 on here. That's so many. That's so many salads. Like 480 in the first of summer, and by the end of it, you get what's 17 times 8? Well, 130. I'm gonna embarrass myself with it. I think it's 136. 136 basically salads. Excuse me? There is zero reason to not have hops around a sprinkler or something. Just get hops. Hops are so useful in every way. It's kind of broken. It is broken. S tier stands for broken. You see this S? It stands for broken. It's just and not to mention pale ale. Turning 25 gold into 300, 12 times profit, and then with the artisan, almost what is that? Almost 16. Almost 17 is 16. Almost 16 is 400. I can't do math. But yeah, almost 17 times profit by putting it into a keg in less than 2 days. You put it into a keg, it gets 17 times profit. If that's not stupid, I don't know what is. But yeah, hops. You get it in the first year, you get it in the second, you get it every year after. Hops is just absolutely insane. But unfortunately, it's kind of annoying. Because yes, it does grow every day, which means that you do get a lot for the money that it's worth. But picking hops every day gets really old, especially if some days in the summer you do want to do some Skull Cavern runs. you don't have that kind of time to just go over and pick a lot of hops. So actually, what I do like better than hops is kind of the obvious. So I get it, right? Hops is up here because it's also viable in the first tier. How is Starfruit viable? Well, the thing about Starfruit, right? I do like it better than hops. And my thing about Starfruit is, if you want to grow something on your farm because you want to make money off of that thing, the thing that you want that to be is a Starfruit. like, like, there are charts about like in my min max thing, right? This is where hops is. This is where hops is, and like yes, that is more money than Starfruit. But you are also picking it. You are also picking it. How many more times that is? Almost 10. Basically 10 times more. Realistically about 8 or 9, but like a lot more times than Starfruit. That gets really old. And you miss that profit. That's profit that you're missing. So yes, this is better than this. However, also trellis. Keep that in mind. You're only going to get 2/3 of hops, but that means you can fill the rest with Starfruit. So not that big of a deal. The problem is with picking it so many times, it gets old. But basically, Starfruit is a really nice crop. You get 3150 from wine if you have the artisan. 3150 from wine, and that means if you have hypergrow and you plant three of them in a summer, then that's how much money you're getting per tile. It's Starfruit. Almost 10,000 in a summer, which is just like, you guys know. I don't need to tell you why Starfruit's so good. You guys that know the game enough, you guys know that Starfruit is absolutely phenomenal. But there's also a crop that like is up here, but I feel like isn't really expected, and it's up here for reasons that it's up here for different reasons. Wheat. Wheat is high A tier. It should honestly be S tier. And the reason, right? I know beer exists, right? But in the summer, Starfruit outclasses beer. In the fall, pumpkin juice outclasses beer. So the reason why that it's up here is because it's a really nice crop. Other than sunflower, it's the only one that doesn't regrow and grows between 2 seasons. What this means is that if you have the time, you can actually plant these somewhere in like the 26th or 27th of summer if you have like a little bit of speed grow that or fertilizer that you want to save for the fall, and sprinklers or whatever to contain the water. You want to save the host spots, right? Wheat for transitioning seasons is really nice for that. Sadly, there is nothing like that for spring and summer. If there was, it would be SS tier. It would honestly be better than Starfruit because, oh man, the summer is so important. It's so sad that there aren't anything that regrow between that you don't have to like pickaxe to get rid of. But yeah, that's why wheat is up here. It saves ground, and like sunflower seeds are a hassle. Yeah, and that's also like the wheat seeds are the cheapest seeds in the game. I think they're the cheapest seeds in the game. They're 10 gold. 10 gold per tile that you want to preserve. That's insane profit. That's insane value right there. Wheat is god, and like you can turn that into beer. Like it's outclassed, but it's also good. It's not bad. Beer is pretty good. Even though like I do have a bunch of outclassed things on the bottom, but that's because that they don't have any other uses. Like there are no other reason to plant them. I've had so many wheat saves in my because right now I'm doing like a Summit Year 2. I feel like a lot of people are doing a 100% perfection in Year 2 challenge right now. But I'm in the middle of that, and wheat has saved me in the first season so many times because I'm doing my first run and it's basically blind. But yeah, I feel like my run's been saved a lot by wheat, and yeah, it's more than it should honestly be S tier, but I think top of A tier just looks nice. Wheat deserves to be up there. Moving on, we got the rest of the boring summer crops. Hot pepper. Hot pepper actually isn't D tier. It goes here. Hot pepper actually isn't D tier. The reason being that it's the cheapest crop. that more than one NPC loves. It's a loved gift for more than one NPC. The other crops I believe are strawberry, pumpkin, and fairy rose. But like compared to hot pepper and like how much you can get it, it's super cheap. I believe Lewis and Shane likes them, which, you know, Shane isn't the hardest one to befriend. You can just use like beer or buy pizzas or, you know, whatever he likes. I don't even memorize that. I just give him hot peppers. But remember Lewis, I don't think he's as easy. So yeah, hot peppers, really cheap gifts for specifically if you wanted to befriend those two people. And then we have tomatoes. Also not completely useless. The reason for this is if we go over to the crops. Yeah. I should have just looked at this. Lewis and Shane. And also in a few recipes, also the bundle. And there, you know, it's a pretty good crop for how often that you get it. And yeah, but tomato. Look at this. You need 8 tomatoes. You need 8 tomatoes to make every single crafting recipe for the 100% perfection. 8 tomatoes. That's kind of like, it's not used for anything else. It's not used for gifts. I guess it's used in the community center. But like, that's more than twice as much as second place. I'm pretty sure. So it's a tomato. Of course, you're gonna need a lot for that, right? For cooking. But you know, and you're not, and like having a couple of these at least in the summer, you can get the shipment achievement, and then you can also get enough tomatoes for all those recipes. So it's not a useless crop, and it's not enough to go above seed tier, but I think seed tier sits nice in it. I only need to plant about 5 in my first year before getting enough for everything that I need. But yes, tomatoes. And the next one is corn. Oh boy, do I have a thing with corn. Okay, so when I look at corn, right, you do not get corn. If you're getting corn and you want to make money off of it, stop. You do not make money with corn. But you know this tier list, it's up here for different reasons. Corn is up here because it's in the quality crops bundle. And to get that first year, you're probably not going to get a bunch of high quality parsnips unless you spam those at the end of the year. And that's a lot of work to take care of. So you're going to get melons, pumpkins, and corn. Melons and pumpkins, you know, you can turn them into things. But corn, you can turn into oil. Because, you know, if you're going to want to get 5 gold quality crops, you're going to want to go a little bit overkill just to make sure that you actually get it, because you can't like go back to buy more corn if you screw up somehow. But like corn, if you have access, you can turn it into oil. You can also turn it into, I believe, tortillas. Where's corn? Corn in the summer. Oh yeah, corn. You can also turn it into tortillas. And guess what tortillas are used to make? That's right, this bad boy. Probably one of the best meals in the game. I don't use it as much. Also, Blue Jazz is used in it, and I forgot to mention that. Not the most useful. I don't use it that much. But if you do want to make a batch of these, you could either get really lucky with Krobus, or you need corn. That's the only way. Super cucumber or sea cucumbers and Blue Jazz, that also comes with it, and that's also why it's up here. But yeah, you can turn it into oil. Oil is useful for cooking as well. And or you can I guess selling it. You might as well just pickle if you wanna sell oil. But you know, it'll stop you from having to buy from PRs for 200. So that's money if you're looking at it that way. Yeah, corn, very the most useless useful crop. That's where it is for me. I think now we get to the boring ones. We got radish. Got summer spangle. Yeah. You should have been along with Tulip. Tulip should have been with you, but unfortunately, you're just too bad. You're just too awful. I believe the only thing that you're good for is Caroline, and that's it. Ship 1, you give 1 to Caroline. You don't even need to give 1 to Caroline because she likes tea. But yeah, kind of a pathetic to use as a crop in any circumstance. Sunflower is also used for oil. It's also used for Haley, but she likes coconuts, and that's so much easier to get iridium quality of. Yeah, sunflower, boring. Poppies. So here's the thing, poppy is actually also really good for honey. Honestly, it should be like up here. Cause the problem with poppies, right? Is that you don't really have a good way of getting a lot of bee houses in your first year, and if it's your second year, it's the summer. You're not using space for bee houses. It's viable, I guess, but you're just not gonna do it. You know, every tile of Starfruit you get 9,000. Every tile of hops you get like 8,000. So it's not really a good strategy to just try to go bee houses if you want to make money with a poppy. I guess and other than that, it's pretty good monetary wise. You need one for the community center. It's frankly annoying because one of the ones that you always just forget about. But yeah, poppy not as special. Actually, yeah, I'm putting it back in C tier. It's originally in C tier. I have a note sheet right here. It is in C tier, so I'm just gonna put it back there. I think I know what past me's talking about. Alright, next is a red cabbage. Oh boy, anybody that has done speedruns know their history with red cabbage. Geez, the euphoria, just the absolute ecstasy that you get from seeing this in the traveling cart should put this higher. Unfortunately, it is a single use, and simultaneously that reason is enough to absolutely hate it. But yeah, no, if you the absolute joy, like the feeling that you get from like getting a cabbage seed from a serpent or something. By the way, there are 1 in 500 from mummies or serpents in the Skull Cavern, or like finding a seed at the traveling merchant, or like finding the red cabbage itself. The amount of joy that you get, and the amount of hatred when you don't get it by the first year. But yeah, no, red cabbage. Anywhere after that, it's completely outclassed. You don't buy a lot of these, and even the food is just like, they're good energy, I guess, but they're better energy later when you're that late in the game. And yeah, I think that's all for summer. Yeah, and then on to fall. Fall, you know what you want. You know. Pumpkin, yeah, it outclasses everything. You want to make money in the fall, plant pumpkins. Pumpkin juice isn't nearly as good as Starfruit. With the artisan buff, you only get 1,008, while Starfruit you get 3,150. But it's still better than anything else that you'll plant in the fall. Yes, I'm even looking at you. Because if you get 3 harvests, then that's 3,024, and that's even more than, I believe, 9 harvests of wheat, which is almost there, but not quite. Pumpkins, and you'd have to take care of them less. Wheat, imagine having to harvest it every 3rd day. That's annoying. But pumpkins, every 9 days, that's very manageable. Yeah, if you want to make money, go pumpkins. Now, I know what you're thinking. You, right? Cranberries. So look, you go down to the wiki, right? Let's close this tab. You go down to the wiki, you look at cranberries, and you're like, ooh, wow, 19 gold per day. Yeah, no, you don't keg cranberries. And also, here's something. If you do sell for base price, I would actually still recommend that you go pumpkins. Here's the reason why I absolutely hate cranberries. The first reason is that fertilizer doesn't work on it. You use quality fertilizer, like to boost its quality. It only works for like the first couple of harvests, and then it drops off really fast. And then speed grow. Check this out. Because the way that cranberries are, they're really tight. Like they don't grow a lot in the first day, and they regrow for a long time, and they're really tight. So without any speed grow, the last one grows on the very last day of the fall. Speed grow actually doesn't ever give you an extra harvest. So yeah, you'll never be using speed grow on cranberries to get where you want to be. It's kind of sad. And sure, you can jelly it, you can wine it. Wining it is a little bit better, but also takes 10 days per. And for cranberries that you get, that's kind of ridiculous to wine. And if you do wine it, it actually does turn out to be better than pumpkins. But you also have to wine it. And for what? I think you'll get like 10 harvests. Without any extra harvests, you get 10, which means that 60-day worth of kegs versus 3 days of pumpkins, which is 3 kegs with pumpkins, which is only 12 days. So, yeah. Cranberries pretty outclassed by pumpkins. The reason why it is in B tier though, however, look at this. The seed price is 240. Now that's a lot, right? But if you just want to grow something and just let it, keep growing, you don't really want to care about it too much, well, you don't have a lot of money. You don't have to look after a lot of crops. If you have 50,000, you only have to look after about like 200. And like that's pretty manageable even in the first year. So if you just want to spend a lot of money to have something and not worry about kegging it or anything, cranberries is a pretty good way to go. But if you have kegs, if you want to make money, pumpkins is way better than cranberries could ever dream of being. The next one, the next one also cracked me up a bit. Eggplants. I never really thought about these in my first times playing, and people don't really think about them really that much either. But check this out, eggplant. It's conveniently right after cranberries. So it grows for 5 days, and then it regrows every 5 days, which is funny enough because guess what? If you use speed grow, you'll actually get more harvests if you let the first one grow and then kill it and then buy another seed for the next harvest to grow and then keep killing it. You'll actually get 6 harvests instead of the 5 if you use speed grow. But the reason why that eggplant's interesting, right? It's not energy. It's this. You buy it for 20 and then you get 5 harvests of 60. And that's not really a lot of gold per day, but that's not a lot of money investment either. You're getting 15 times your investment for that season, which is a lot that you could save for for pumpkins you're only getting 10 times the investment. But for eggplants, you're getting 15. And that sounds really good, right? But the reason that's down here is the opposite of why you have cranberries. It's because you're going to have a lot of crops to look after if you want to spend your money into eggplants. Every eggplant tile is an investment, and if you want to actually make 15 times profit off of that, then you have to care for you have to buy as many seeds as you can. And that means with 30,000 or that means with 50,000, which we use for the cranberries, instead of only looking after 200, you have to look after 2,500, which, to put in perspective, the standard farm is only 3,400 tiles. So in your first year, you're going to be looking after 2/3 of your entire farm, which I don't really see. It is an interesting concept, not a lot of investment for a little bit of money, and it is a strat to just put these out to the side. But I just don't see eggplants being very useful. I don't see that strat being very useful. If you want to make money, just I don't know, make money. So it's a viable strat. You could use money for other things, if you just enough to unlock the desert, and you still want to make an investment on enough crops, you only have 1,000, you can buy 50 eggplants, and you'll make pretty good money off of that. But yeah, so it is viable. I just don't see it being very useful, especially in the ways that I play. Next up, I believe we just have the boring ones. Amaranth is absolutely terrible. Artichoke, I thought was good. Seeds cost 30, 160 to sell. Pretty good to turn into pickles. Until I knew that it was in the second year. It grows from mixed seeds though, which is pretty nice. But you can also use those mixed seeds for some things like Ginger Island. And the mixed seeds there are so much more valuable than the mixed seeds in any other season. So I wouldn't even go about doing that. Beets are nice. Beets are neat. Beets are pretty neat. You plant. They're pretty fast to harvest. They're cheap. Their seeds are absolutely dirt cheap. And you need 10 for the casino, which you can get the rare. Which at the casino you'll get the rare crow, and if you have all 8 rare crows, you'll get the deluxe rare crow. So yeah, it's a crop that's here, which so that you can get a rare crow for. And any excess you can just ship. If you if you have even more than that, then it's a loved gift for Evelyn. I don't really use the mill that often, but I guess you can do that. I would just pickle it, but you do you. And yeah, that's beets are viable. They're not really special, but they're viable. and Bok Choy. Okay. Here's the thing that I learned about Bok Choy like super recently, like even after I made this list. So Bok Choy, I was like, whoa. So you're telling me, where is it? It's B. It's alphabetical. I know my alphabet. It's 50, and you only get 80 out of it. It's terrible energy, only used in one thing. What the heck? It's terrible gold per day. Well, you're only getting 30 investment for whatever the seeds you're putting in. It's not really good to pickle. You know what? Why? Bok Choy, because here's the thing. So it sells for 80, and the calculation for experience only goes by base price. And because it's logarithmic, you guys don't need to know what that means. I'm just going to tell you. That means that proportionally, the less that it costs, the more XP that you're going to get. Like a Starfruit, compared to like wheat's 25. Starfruit is worth 30 more, but you'll only get like, what is this? You only get like 7 times more XP from that. So what that means is that if Bok Choy is worth 80, that's not a lot, but then you get a decent amount of XP. And Bok Choy ends up being actually, I believe, the third most XP crop that you can get. Even better XP than Starfruit. The only thing that it's behind is Ancient Fruit, and you guessed it. It's 3.5 XP per day. And you know, even if you use speed good, then that turns into 4.66. So you know, really good XP per day. But the reason why it's down here is because, you know, it's fall. You don't need farming XP. If you really want kegs that bad, you know, getting the pumpkin, you know, getting the thing that you put in the kegs is going to be just as good XP. Like it's not like you don't have to worry about farming XP. You have like, you know, what's a 200 pumpkins. That's 6,000 XP. If you do that twice, you're basically at level 10. If you're not at level 10, there's a problem. But you don't need XP. You don't need XP. Just plant money crops and you'll get the XP that you need. Don't need to go for epic Bok Choy strats, anything like that. The next two, I don't know. It's just sad. It's just sad. The next two, they can sit there, keep the Star Spangle company, the summer Spangle. We're not patriots here, anyway. But yeah, these two, the rest of the crops, right? What separates the D tier and the F tier is being completely useless to being actually have a use. And the actual use here is the achievement where you have to ship 15 of every crop. The difference with these two is that there are better ways to get the crops than to grow it. Grapes, they're a summer forage. You pick them up off the ground, you'll get 15 probably in your first year. That'll be more money than growing the crop. And like the crop itself, it's pretty good money, you know, on the chart. It's got better gold per day than pumpkins. Not quite as much, but basically there. Basically, and oh, it's a love gift by Vincent. That's nice. But you know, it grows on the trellis. It's annoying. There's no reason to get it over pumpkins ever. There's really not. And yams, they're actually a pretty small drop from Dougie's. And like this isn't like expecting you to go, you know, farming for Dougie's just to get that achievement, but like, why would you have these on your farm when you can have pumpkins? And then you can use that time to, I don't know, kill some Dougie's. It's a low drop from Dougie's, don't get me wrong. You are going to be down there for a while to get the 15 that you need to get the achievement. But it's still the only other crop that you can get without actually growing it, ever. These two seeds, you can 100% the game. You can get every single achievement without growing a single one. And I think that deserves to be in the F tier. Next is Fairy Rose. What do you think this is going to be? Have you heard of Fairy Rose honey? Are you kidding me? 235 gold per day? That's like better than diamonds in a crystallarium with gemologist. And like this is spoiler territory. This is 1.5 content. But if you don't know about it, it'll just go. 1.5 content. On Ginger Island, you know those little spots where the ginger roots grow? You can plant there. You can plant there. And because it's that only one spot, which means that you can put bee houses all around that. And then they won't obstruct any actual farmable land. Even more. I didn't even. This is. You can. You know those two walnut spaces above the farm, like north of the farm. There's one next to the elevator and one with the tiger signs. That there's a spoiler. There are two golden coconuts there, golden walnuts there. Those spaces that you hoe just to get the walnuts, you can plant fairy roses there. It's so funny, and like filling the entire Ginger Island with bee houses is not a viable strat at all. But like, it's pretty good for just like picking it every 4 days. 951 per jar of honey. That's really good honey for just something to just toss in the bin. Something you just collect and then toss in the bin. A fairy rose honey is really good, and even better. This is why it's at A tier, but I'm just doing this on the fly. So I'm just the reason why that it's A tier is because fall is kind of like a really good place to start getting bee houses. If you want to go for it, then you can start tapping maple trees in the summer. You can start collecting coal and iron and buying wood from Robin, and by the time you'll get like, if you can get like 100 bee houses in your first year of fall, that's about, actually how much is that? I didn't theory craft this well enough, but like 100 bee houses, that's probably around $400,000. That's like 400 pumpkins, from buying like a couple of fairy roses, and like a single fairy rose with a half decent setup can affect like 28 bee houses. That's pretty neat. There are better setups than 28, but the 28 is just what I like to use. But yeah, that's more than enough to get fairy rose to be up here. The other two, ancient. For some reason, this tier list has an extra sweet gemberry. I don't know why. But like, the last two ancient. You know where this goes. Like, come on, come on. You look at the tier list. This is the max product here for day on the farm, which means not greenhouse environment, and 23,000. That's you plant. You choose anything, right? You choose the highest thing for spring. Let's choose strawberries. Let's choose starfruit. Let's choose like pumpkins, or hell, let's choose cranberries. It's still not even close to 23,100. If you're in the late game, you have the ancient fruit seeds, which you will get because you just put ancient fruit in the seed maker, and you'll get enough seeds to like actually plant on your farm and make money. It's kind of an investment, sure, but like also the value that you'll get out of each seed is more than enough. To make it worth it. And it's just like, you know how starfruit, if you're planting a crop to make money, you want it to be a starfruit. If you are planting on your farm and you want to make money, you want that to be ancient fruit. Alright. So sweet gemberry, right? Not the first one, not this one. I don't know why they're two. I guess they can kind of look like eyes. I suppose they're two. Nah, they don't look enough like eyes. I don't know what we want. Sweet gemberry, terrible. is so bad. I have critiques about how to fix the sweet gemberry, which I can actually make in another ramble video. But sweet gemberry is really bad. The getting seeds is so hard, and it's so tedious. Like there's no reason why you have a crop that forces you to like only get more from seed makers, and that's how you get an actual reasonable amount. Even if you get 5 from the traveling merchant every single time that she comes, and you check every single day, you'll only be getting about 160 seeds. That's horrible. That's horrible. Like the gold per day that you get of it, yeah, that's pretty good. It's actually less than like wine to starfruit. It's like, it's so bad. But you know where it's actually going. It's going right here. There's a reason for that. It'll get you a star drop, and if you spend 1,000 on a seed to turn it into a star drop, that's like the cheapest star drop in the game. I guess getting to floor 100 is pretty cheap too, but like, that's a reasonably cheap star drop. You just get a sweet gemberry to give it to grow it, and then all you need is one, and you give it to cannoli, and then you get a star drop from that. That's pretty good profit if you ask me. It's pretty good investment. Because to 100% perfect the game, you need a star drop, and like you're definitely gonna have at least one of these by your first year. So I think that's a pretty good investment. And then this, I don't know when this was created, but like some of the other crops that I wanted to mention also should be up here. The first one that I don't know what to use, so I'll just use this, I guess. It's kind of like a throw around. But the first one, this is going to be unmilled rice. Unmilled rice is I don't know where to put it. I guess I'll put it right here. I'll keep the fall things like right here. Unmilled rice is so cool. It's such a like a crop that self waters. The value of that in the first of spring, and like how easy that you're able to get it in the first of spring. They drop from bugs. You can get it from fishing if you're not in the ocean. You just get it in so many ways, and like you'll it grows for like 6 days. So if you're able to find like at least a couple by your 6th day, which your 6th day is going to be when you're mining and fishing, you're gonna have a couple of these, like even 20. That's profit. All of those are profit, and you don't have to spend a single point of energy to get that. It's self-watering, and it's really, really nice. And you're gonna have all the space in the world to put it next to water. If you're on the stand, if you're on any farm, just put it next to water. It'll grow itself. You'll get that money. Don't even turn it into anything. Just sell it upright. And honestly, there's no really need. You can actually pickle rice. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. You can pickle rice, I believe. No, excuse me. You can pickle rice. You can even juice rice. I forget. You can also juice rice. You can pickle rice, but you don't need to do that. Just sell it. You'll get some money for strawberries, and a crop that you don't have to do anything is really handy, especially in spring. The next one is cactus fruit. I believe I put cactus fruit somewhere in like the C tier. It's somewhere in C tier. I don't know. I didn't think about this as much, but like cactus fruit's going to be somewhere along here. That's the reason for that is you only can grow it in garden plots, which means that you can't use sprinklers. The only way that you can auto water is the pretty end game, where you have to buy the super water retaining soil. In this case, you don't have to worry about it. It's pretty good money per day, but like it's not going to be your main by any means. The only reason why that I ever have cactus fruit is so I can use it as gifts, because they're also love gifts to 3 people. But you can also pick a lot of them off the ground in the desert, and if you have the foraging, then that'll be iridium, and that's always better for gifts. So cactus fruit, not really the best, but is an option if you need a little bit more to give to people. Then that's always good. Taro Root. Taro Root, the only value I saw it was for that one Caroline quest where you have to collect 100 island ingredients. But Taro Root, I'll put it like up here. The reason why that I like Taro Root so much is because the little strip on like a little bit left to where your actual farm is, like not connected, you can just have Taro Root like along there. There are a couple hoeable spaces that you're not gonna like really impede on. Like you want. And it's not really like good for sprinklers, because like one sprinkler doesn't water the whole like thing. You only get like 5 to 10 spaces out of the sprinkler per use, and that's like a waste. So just planting Taro Root that'll auto water along that river, pretty nice, free money. And if you have the Caroline quest, you can just, or if you need the Caroline quest, you can just wait for it to all grow, and then pick 2 harvests, and all that left side will just be enough. And you'll have enough time, unless you get it on the last week of the season, which will really suck. I don't think that quest is like, it's just really, really hard to get on that last week anyways. But as long as that doesn't happen, Taro Root will definitely give you enough for to complete that quest, and you don't have to worry about it. The last one on here is pineapple. Pineapple's basically the same as Taro Root. The other thing about pineapple, so it's good on paper, right? You put it on Ginger Island. It's like a it's like a what's the joke? I forgot the joke. It's ancient fruit, but worse. I forgot. Off-brand. It's off-brand ancient fruit. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, pineapple's off-brand ancient fruit. So like that doesn't sound bad, ancient fruit. The ancient fruit's up here for a reason, and half of an ancient fruit, it's still like put two of those, that's an ancient fruit worth. But like you could also just put an ancient fruit there. There's no reason why I can't. Pineapple seeds are pretty hard to get by themselves, and the only reason why I'll ever get them is for the ginger island ingredient. You just have two iridium sprinklers and like a couple spaces of somewhere else. That's 50. You get 2 harvests. It's fine. You don't need to see them ever again after you do that ginger island quest. They're pretty bad. I don't know where to put them either. Probably down here somewhere. I hope we're keeping track of these last 4 because I don't know where they're going. They're somewhere there. I hope I can edit them in, but I'm not good at editing, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, yeah, that's the tier list. If you made it to the end, this is kind of what it looks like. I'll put this in the there. That's basically what it looks like. This is the real sweet Cranberry. Can I just like delete this? Okay. Yeah, no, that's the finalized tier list. But yeah, that's my opinion on every single crop in the game. I feel like I have a decent standing on these. I've played Stardew for a pretty long time, but yeah, no, it's just that's the tier list. Anyways, yeah.